Hello everybody, Robert Carr from Intuitive Healing, video number 5, and today's subject is reincarnation. Fascinating little subject. There are many belief systems around the world that believe in reincarnation. I tend not to use the word religions because I'm not a big fan of religion, but belief systems. They believe, as do I, that we have a higher self. So we have the real us that is somewhere in the universe, not sure where. We don't understand the universe as much as we should. Some people say there are parallel universes, some people say there are multiple universes. It doesn't really matter. This belief system dictates that there is a higher self, or the sum of all of our lives that we've lived, and every piece of information, every experience that we've ever had is located in that memory bank as such. And when you have, as the Buddhists believe, lived enough lives, you reach enlightenment, and you don't need to come back, and you don't need to have any more lives because you've learned it all. There are people who believe that very, very advanced souls sometimes come back to this life but bring their memories with them. The likes of Krishna, Buddha, Jesus, and they kind of are very intelligent beings who try and point us in the right direction so we can reach enlightenment a lot quicker. It's a view. So our higher self sends a little chunk of its life essence or a soul, that sometimes it's referred to as the soul, and we live a life. We choose the life we live. It's kind of ordering a meal. You know what your life is, so you have a lifeline, which is basically written in stone. It's your destiny, your fate, your karma, your kismet, call it what you like. So you're born and you have life lessons, and then you die. And then all that information goes with your soul, goes back to the higher self, and you progress and you get further towards enlightenment. Each life you live, you have different experiences. So you may be black, you may be white, you may be male, you may be female, you may be rich, poor, popular, lonely, you might be absolutely athletic, you might be severely disabled, but it's your choice. You choose your life. Some very, very brave souls choose to come back severely disabled because that is the lesson they want to learn. Interesting. Excuse me while I look at my script. You tend to live your lives with the same souls. So there'll be a pod or a group of souls and you'll change jobs. So in this life, we don't have children. In the next life, I might have children. So, me mum in this life may be me son in my next life, and my wife in my next life may be my husband because I might be female. And this lends the fact that sometimes you can meet somebody and feel like you've known them forever, and you hit it off like that because they're in your soul group, and maybe in the last couple of lives you've had nice experiences with them. And then sometimes you meet somebody and bang, automatically, I don't like them, want to do, don't like them, because they might have had bad experiences with you in a past life. But it's the same group of souls. There was one day I was meditating and I said to my mum, you killed me in a past life, mum. You stuck a spear right through my chest and ended my life. And she never even looked up from her knitting, and she just says, well, you probably deserved it. So when you hear the terms, you've been here before, they're an old soul, there's a kind of a basis in it. which actually makes a little bit of sense. Or sometimes if you have a skill and you're suddenly very, very good at it, like take it like a duck of water, you might have done this skill 2 or 3 times in past lives. So you might have been a soldier, you might join the army and rattle through the ranks because you know it. It's in the very core of who you are, very core of your higher self. So it kind of just, it comes out very easily for you. Some people have very easy lives. Some people have not many nasty experiences to live through, and you'll have somebody who's going like, they've got it easy them, but that they are there to facilitate experiences for others. So sometimes you do get an easy ride, you do get a free ride. Not every life you live has to be brutal, or lesson. Somebody asked me a very heavy duty question a while ago, and I went, so what about cot deaths? What has that soul got to learn if it's only on this plane of existence for a week? And it is not what that soul learns, it is what that soul teaches. So it's the experience of the people around that child. They learn. That child learns nothing. That child has took it upon themselves to come down and offer a service. And the people around that child learn heartache, grief, despair as part of their pre-ordered lifeline. Some people go off course. So you do have a line that you are supposed to live, but sometimes through circumstances, people can meander off. Generally speaking, everybody has a spirit guide. Everybody has their own personality. You can be yourself. It is not written in stone. There is the birth, the death, and a few experiences. In between those experiences, you are allowed to be yourself. You can be an individual. You can just do what you like. But every so often, a spirit guide will come along, go like a sheepdog, and will make sure you're in that place at that time for that life lesson. Sometimes people veer off and go off on a tangent. And this is where healing comes in. Healing, once again, involved in all kinds of stuff. And we balance that person, put them back to where they should be, and then they go back there. If somebody's perception is not working correctly and their emotions aren't working correctly, they might veer off the line they're supposed to be on. But you put the perception back, you put the emotions back, you put the control back, you go back on the line and they have those experiences. So this kind of like puts healing into a very strange place. As like, are we actually healers, or are we just somebody who makes sure that people live their preordained lives? So are we mechanics? Do we just push them back where they need to be? Interesting theory. So this is where divination comes into play. So when you go to see a psychic, I do tarot readings. I taught myself tarot readings. You go see somebody who reads a palm, you go see somebody who reads a crystal ball. They can read your life. They can read your life through divination. I shuffle the cards and I can tell you a chunk of your lifeline because it is already written and you can kind of dip into it and dip out of it. Sometimes when people come and say to me for readings, and I'll say, oh, can you give us a tarot reading? I'll say, no, I'm sorry, I can't. And they think, oh, am I going to die? Am I going to die? I say, no, you're out of balance. I can put you back into balance, and when you're back into balance, then I can read your tarot. So that's where the healing comes in again. There are some times that healing cannot help, and that is people's fate, destiny, karma, call it what you will. If you have chosen to have a disability in this life, you can't help that person. Speaking from personal experience, my dad, his life was like a game of football, game of two halves. 6'2", built like a barn door, pitman, up to the age of 49, fizzled up, age of 49, got disabled down the pit, and he spent 40 years as a disabled man. And as much as I tried to heal him, and as much as I tried to help him, I couldn't change that fact. It was his destiny. Hard lesson to learn for me, mind, as a healer, thinking, ooh, I can help everybody. Nah, you can't. If it's somebody's destiny to be that way, there's nothing you can do about it. Absolutely nothing you can do about it. From my little personal experience, when I was a young man, I was a very good rugby player, a national champion. But at the age of 26, I had a serious injury and I couldn't play for a long time. But very, very soon after, I found out I was psychic, had abilities, and I kind of, instead of putting my energies into rugby, I put my energies into being a healer. So when my skill set was up to a certain standard and my ankle had improved, I went back to playing rugby in my early 40s, just to prove the point to myself that I can. Managed to make a few appearances for the first team, and then I retired on my terms. So I was destined not to play rugby because I was destined to be a healer. Random, but there you go. You may agree, you may disagree with this definition of reincarnation. It's a theory, but it's the one that I genuinely buy into. I like it. It makes sense to me. And some people say, like, well, there are times, such as the Holocaust, the Jewish Holocaust. How can you quantify or justify those millions of deaths? And I read a mad little theory in a book once, where sometimes it takes a long time for karma or universal justice to catch up with people. And there was a theory that it was the Mongol hordes that swept majestically across Europe, were horrible, and like took over the known world at the time through brutal, and maybe it was their time to come back and have that replayed on them. It's a theory, whether you agree with it or not. It's a theory. It's an idea. Excuse me while I just have a look at my script. I think that's about it, really. Very interesting. There's lots of books out there, lots of theories. Look them up if you're interested. But that's it for today. Just a cheeky little one. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll do another one next week for you. Catch you later.